Welcome back to another podcast of Skyriver Podcast with
Dan the Man
and Zane Rose. Today we're talking about Sith and just the whole aspects of what Sith are, the origins of Sith, who are Sith, their force. And I know you want to say something about Sith. You've been kind of bugging about all week. So what do you got to say about Sith?
This is where the monkey wrench gets thrown into his gear shifter right now. Oh, I'm not here for this one, for the Sith. Cringe does not even begin to describe what I watched.
What did you watch?
For an hour and 37 minutes, and I don't remember how many seconds, my life was sucked from my body.
What did you watch?
I watched the holiday special.
Oh,
so
no.
Everybody, welcome to the holiday special of Skyriver Cantina.
Yeah, it's almost Life Day, guys. It's almost Life Day. Gotta prepare.
The Sith thing will have to wait.
How do you like it? Was it good?
Cringe is what you called it?
Oh, yeah.
Cringe, okay. I wish I knew more English words in the vocabulary, because I'm sure that cringe is not even close to what that was.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out, but that's the best word I can come up with.
Listen, man, and the thing was I wasn't actually going to watch it, and then I just typed in Star Wars on YouTube, because I just kind of wanted to watch a bunch of random Star Wars videos, right? And I mean, I got some good stuff, and I figured out that I actually was wrong on a couple of things that I stated in previous episodes, and I will actually circle back around to that at some point and make those corrections. But I saw a little skit video of somebody talking about the office meeting where, they pitched the idea of the holiday special.
With Ryan George?
I don't know the guy's name. I didn't watch the whole thing. I got partway through and said, okay, I just gotta watch this and just be done with it. And so, that's how my night began. Was it Monday? Was it Monday or was it Sunday? It had to have been Monday. Because I told you, like Tuesday morning when we got to work.
Yeah, you told me early in the week.
Yeah, I think it was Tuesday morning. I think it was.
How was it? Everything that you hoped? Seems like a lot more, huh?
It was absolutely the most horrific thing. Like, it's just one step above how I feel about Disney.
Well, now you know how I feel. That movie scarred me.
Like, Leia singing the song at the end.
I'm still replaying
all that. Like, I didn't even. What the heck? None of those songs were like anything kind of Star Warsy like. And the thing is they were just like completely off-brand like crap.
Yeah.
That just sucked. Like, they couldn't like get AC/DC or somebody. Like, you couldn't get a better band to play.
Well, have you seen the movie? I wouldn't want to be in that movie either. Or
anything. You couldn't get somebody worthwhile to do it. Like, I have no idea who that lady was, and they made like a big deal, like this lady's famous or something. If she is famous, it has to be for like a one-hitter quitter kind of song thing or something, and it sure wasn't the one she was singing in the movie. Although it was a little bit better than the rock song that was in the movie. I don't know if it was better or worse than Leia's. Like, I I can't really. All I can say is it was less creepy than Leia's. Like, I was creeped out by Leia, the song that Leia was singing at the end.
Yeah, that movie should have been banned.
Like, Carrie Fisher was hot, but like, I would never after that. Like, if I would never have wanted to get her autograph in real life, like in the 70s after that moment. I would be like, yeah, I'm just gonna look at her and try to forget that kind of thing. Like I would not, no. And, I mean, really? With the Wookiees?
Yeah, it was weird, huh?
And his dad's itchy. And
he was watching that,
yeah,
VR.
He was watching, the virtual reality chick sing that song.
Yeah.
In this minute or some shit.
He was getting very excited.
Yeah, he even hit replay on a certain part and I don't know. All I gotta say is cringe didn't begin to describe it.
I don't know any other words. I need a bigger vocabulary.
I mean, like, I get what they were trying to go for, because it was the 70s.
I do not.
You know, it was the 70s, and the 70s had variety shows and things like that. And so they were trying to have this little holiday thing, you know, of Life Day, you know, because it's around Christmas time, you know, and everything.
Oh,
trying to celebrate being together and all that.
The movie is canon. So that whole Life Day, they go into at the end of the movie, they go into this ball thing. That's all real. That's canon. So just think about Chewbacca doing all that ceremony stuff.
I just...
The Star Wars Galaxy is wild.
And something else, man. When did R2 become a spaz case? Like, R2 was completely spazzing out with the little engine thing with Luke.
From the stuff that he saw, I would be spazzing out too.
No, man, look, R2's better than that. If he keeps Luke's freaking X-Wing going while they're in combat and they're getting... He can definitely keep the engine from catching fire while Luke's talking to somebody. But he's sitting there spazzing out instead of doing that. What the heck, man? Like, that is totally not a R2-D2 freaking thing. Like, he knows to go over there. Ship's all tossed around. Everything's tossed around. And he still goes over there and he turns the switch to kick on the hyperdrive. Like, in the Millennium Falcon. So, I just don't see him letting the damn thing start on fire again. So, like, they just decided that we're just going to have, like, R2-D2, he's going to be high today. Like,
you gotta have something. Everybody was high in the 70s.
Dude, man, somebody...
R2's no exception.
So, okay, you remember how I was talking about when I said that they might have been doing acid when they came up with the creatures?
Oh, yeah, they're definitely doing a lot
They
more.
were definitely doing a lot of something when they came up with the idea for that holiday special.
They were crossing R2's wires and like, you're gonna get twisted like we are.
Like, that holiday special was horrible, man.
Yeah, they tried to hide it for the longest time, but everybody kept talking about it. So they're like, well, it's canon now. Here it is for everybody to see. They tried to hide it for the longest time, because it was that much of a disaster.
Yeah, it was a disaster. I mean, that's like taking Center Point Station and locking on to a sun, and then making it supernova and annihilate an entire solar system, except times it by about 1,000.
Yeah,
that's how rough that was.
Yeah, it's
not
rough. A good movie. How do you rate that compared to the other last three?
The Disney stuff?
Yeah,
I still watch it over the Disney stuff, and it's pretty bad.
Well,
but at least they got the right characters alive and the right characters, you know, and doing what, you know, they do. And what was up? Except now, yeah. See, I knew something was off with Boba Fett in the little cartoon, Because Boba Fett don't act like that. Ever. And then there's even something else off. Okay, that's like Boba Fett had the drop on him. And could have easily blasted them guys.
Oh, dropped on who?
On Han and Chewie and them when they were once they discovered, when the droids told Luke that Boba Fett was working for Vader, right?
I thought they
And
He
backs up, and he's got his little thing so he can shoot out of the freaking top hatch of the Falcon or whatever, and he's got his blaster on him. Like, Boba Fett's a badass. He would totally have just blasted them frickers with a damn, at least a stun.
Yeah, he would have done
stun bolt and knocked them all out, and then would have commenced to either taking them to Vader for them to get tortured until they talked.
Or it depends what kind of bounty they have on him, because he's only doing that for the bounty. So if they want him alive, he's probably gonna get him alive.
Yeah, I guess they didn't say if he was paid to kill them or not. He was paid to infiltrate. And so since he was paid to infiltrate, the way Boba is he wasn't paid to kill them.
Yeah, he could have done it more smartly though.
He could have killed them if he needed to. But he didn't necessarily need to. So I guess, but I kind of felt like that Boba Fett kind of pussied out there on that one. In that cartoon. But it was also supposed to be a cartoon from the 70s, style. I feel like there's probably a lot of pussing out in that. Because it wasn't Looney Tunes, so.
I think that was their first attempt on cartooning Star Wars. Before they...
That was pretty bad.
Yeah, it was. I told you. Told you multiple times. It's not good.
That was definitely created by the Sith got a hold of George Lucas on that one. They mined.
I think Jar Jar just got a hold of that.
Jar Jar. Okay, all right. I was kind of thinking.
The Sith are more composed. Jar Jar is.
No.
He did all that.
No. This was. No.
Like purely sabotage.
This was horrible. Now, speaking of Jar Jar, though, so, I feel like we've talked about the holiday special enough, and we haven't really talked much about it other than it was horrible.
Yeah, that's all we have to say.
But, speaking of Jar Jar, though, alright, so the thing is either Jar Jar is the most absolute idiot, klutzy guy in the entire universe that the Force takes mercy on and just gives him luck on a level that is extremely ridiculous for him to be able to keep existing.
I think he has a whole lot of bad luck, but then he also has a whole lot of good luck to counterpart the bad luck.
Now, you see, his bad luck, right? But then there's always something with the bad luck that happens.
Yeah, that kind of switches it into good luck.
That switches it into something good.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's either that. It's either that, because, the Force kind of is very kind of conscious in a way, because, you got Force ghosts, they kind of contribute to it.
Or whatnot.
So it's kind of conscious in a way. So, it either takes absolute pity on Jar Jar, and when he gets into his bad luck, it gives him twice as much good luck to counterbalance
Jar Jar
all
is
that.
Force sensitive.
No. I'm talking about the Force itself just graces him with its divine presence of the Force to keep him alive for some frickin' reason. Because it sees that he's that much of a thing, of a frickin'
the
idiot.
Force is going out of its way. It's like, we gotta keep this one creature alive. He cannot do it.
It's either that. It's either that the Force gives him that mystical ability to just keep surviving his complete and utter asinine fuck-ups, or it is how people think it is, that he is some kind of really badass drunken master with the Force.
I think he could be a Sith. Just being on topic.
People have been talking about that he's actually the most dangerous Sith master of all, because he's just the one that lies in wait and nobody ever knows that he's Sith.
Yeah, Darth Vader was under the nose of all the Jedi for many years.
For the longest time.
Nobody even know, not even Yoda, and they were sitting
you can meditate and control.
Yeah, I was hearing about that.
Your Force aura. You can actually control that and shrink that to basically the same as an average person.
Yeah, I was listening about that, and Palpatine, he was very high level on that stealth Force. So he just hid in plain sight.
Yep, and like when you get along with like further on in the stuff with Jason and Jaina and all that, with Han and Leia's kids and Ben Skywalker, Luke's kid, and all that, they got a lot of where there's some interplay of hiding the aura and stuff, because
you kind of have to in the galaxy, especially if you have the Force.
Well, I mean, especially if you're kind of dark side, because that kind of radiates out different.
Yeah.
So Jar Jar is either the idiot that the Force takes care of, or he is the badass, the most badass drunken master Force user in the galaxy.
Well, whatever happened to Jar Jar after Episode 3?
I don't remember much what happened to Jar Jar in Episode 3.
I know he was appointed on the council, like taking Leia's place on the council and whatnot. Which I think, if he was a dark side user, he could be getting closer to Palpatine, trying to get knowledge from Palpatine, from dark sideness.
Yeah, but you know how Palpatine is.
Well, he got Count Dooku, he got Anakin. He's just trying to convert people that want to learn.
Yeah, but do you think he's going to try to convert what he believes to be a lower life form because he's not human?
Well,
because the Empire was extremely xenophobic.
If he's good with the Force, it's like, yeah, I am dark side. That's why you can't sense it until he reveals, like, oh yeah, I am dark side.
Yeah, but then at the same time, it's Palpatine. He also thinks he's an absolute idiot. And even if he was to come out to Palpatine that he was a Sith, Palpatine would still probably try to kill him because Palpatine wants the rule of...
Or he could use him
two.
For his own stuff like he did.
I mean, yeah, actually, you know what? You might be right, because he did take Force sensitives.
Yeah.
And Force users, and he did make them into, like, his little hit squads. The Emperor's hands. Like Jaina, or, like Mara Jade, who became Mara Jade Skywalker, Luke's wife. She was an Emperor's hand. She was, Force sensitive that he trained up in the Force to basically, she was like the equivalent of like a Jedi Knight. Like the low-level Jedi Knight, She could
like
use
like...
the Force and stuff. And, she... Eventually, she became not the Emperor's hand, because, well, one, the Emperor died.
Oh, yeah.
But then, eventually, there was at some point, I don't remember, it happened, and I don't, there's a part in between the Empire and the New Republic that I don't have a lot on, because I wasn't able to get a hold of those books.
What, after Episode 6?
After Episode 6, and before, like, the X-Wing series and some of the other series that was in that time period. Because the X-Wing series, they actually go and they take Coruscant. Because the war actually wasn't over. The Empire wasn't defeated when Palpatine died.
Oh, no, they started a whole bunch of stragglers all about.
The Empire was still in full force.
Or for a little bit.
The Empire never actually completely got destroyed.
Oh, yeah, They were still
the Empire. And they eventually became like the in the new thing.
Yeah, but they didn't have as much force as they did.
No,
but then somebody took over, and then they got their force back.
But basically, they ended up using the what is it, Darth Krayt. He ends up using like the Empire to where it bases Sith and everything from, and uses them to help take out the Jedi, and then take the New Republic over and make it the Empire again.
Oh.
About 100 years after. That's when the Cade Skywalker stuff. That's about 100
Thrawn?
years after the New Republic basically takes over.
Is that like after Thrawn or before Thrawn?
That's after Thrawn.
Okay.
This is after all the main characters are dead, and we're on.
Yeah, we're on
Cade Skywalker's like great grandson of Luke, because it's Luke, and then it's Ben, and then Ben has a kid. I believe it's Cal, but I'm not sure.
Cal Kestis.
No. And then he has his son, and that's Cade. So we're on. Cade is like great-great-grandson of Luke. It's about 100 years after that. But, yeah, no, they actually still had to take Coruscant. Still had to actually take over the entire thing. The entire galaxy. The rebellion was still a rebellion. And then they eventually did take Coruscant, and the Empire sabotaged Coruscant, left a very bad virus that would attack all of the aliens and wouldn't hurt the humans.
Oh.
So and it was very bad.
An airborne...
Oh, man. We're talking... Like, okay, so COVID ain't got shit on this, man. It, like, melts the frickin'... The aliens, dude. Like, it melts them.
So, like, they breathe it in and...
When it kills them, they, like, start to... And if they get it on another alien, like, it helps to spread it and all that, because it's just goo, you know, it's melt.
So it's just goo? So if you
they start like turning into bags of goo and leaking this pus and stuff from them and everything. And if other alien races that aren't human go in there to try to take care of this stuff, they have to be really careful and fully suited up and hope, because if they contract it, there wasn't a cure yet, and their death would be just as horrible as the ones that died already. It was pretty nasty. And the Lusanka was the third Super Star Destroyer, and they had that in the planet. They built it on Coruscant.
Oh, when did they... Were they just...
They built it under the city, down underneath the surface of the world.
Yeah,
and so then when the Rebel Alliance attacked Coruscant to take it over, they overwhelmed the Empire and they took it over. But Lusanka, which I might not be saying that correctly, actually come up out of the surface through the city, like ripping up buildings and all kinds of stuff, come out of that and took off from Coruscant. And damn, I cannot remember her name, but it's the chick that basically started to kind of rule in the Emperor's place. Eventually they take her out, and then I do believe then Thrawn comes into play. And Thrawn was a military freaking genius. But
yeah.
Okay, so what else you got?
No, I just have a whole lot of stuff. Oh no, I was going down a rabbit hole on all the apprentices from like Darth Vader, and so I got from Darth Vader was Darth Sidious, the Emperor, and then from Sidious was Plagueis, and then from Plagueis was Tenebrows. He was the one that had Plagueis, and I think that was around the time where what's the name? Raven? No, Darth Bane.
Oh, yes, well, Darth Bane. Darth Bane is the one that came up with the rule of two.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he actually made that happen. Because it was a big Sith army.
Yeah.
And he actually purposely sabotaged the Sith so that they would basically end up killing themselves along with the Jedi killing them and everything else, and annihilate the Sith where it was just him and his apprentice. Because the Sith being such a big group was too much.
Yeah, they'd fight
each other, they'd fight everything else, and it was too much, too chaotic, too much crap, and there couldn't be any real progression, and there was never going to be a chance of them being able to actually take over and rule anything because they couldn't get along long enough to do it.
Yeah, they're sick.
So the only way that it would work is if there was a master and an apprentice. And eventually the apprentice would kill the master.
Yeah.
And become the master, and then they would take on an apprentice.
Yep. That's just their cycle of life, I guess.
And then after a while, it switches back to the masses of the Sith underneath of Darth Krayt.
I wonder if we're gonna get that in the future stuff. Like a lot of Sith instead of just a rule of two.
That's what happened during Kate Skywalker's time.
Well, I mean, like on the big picture. Like in
you mean with the Disney thing?
Yeah.
No, just like I saw that one guy's comment. He was like, I would really love to actually get to see the Vong come back to the galaxy, but Disney will just screw that shit up.
Yeah, they might.
That's what he said. And the other thing I forgot to tell you about the Vong is that they actually will do genetics. So you know how people have cybernetics, right? Mm-hmm. The Vong actually do a genetic thing where they enhance themselves by using genetics.
Yeah, is that back in the day with swords?
No, this is after the New Republic gets started.
Oh,
the Yuuzhan Vong.
What am I talking about then?
But we'll save that one for a different episode. Get back on your little Sith apprentice thing.
Okay. Oh no, I don't got a whole lot of stuff. I think Darth Cylon is really cool. I think he was the first Sith to make staying alive just a real thing, because he did die. Well, he got into battles with Jedi a lot because he just hated the Jedi, but then with so much pain that he had, he just kept that sword, that pain and agony, and then that just made his body constructed. So he just used pain to stay alive. So his whole life, he was just feeling agony and pain until the end of his life. I think he lived for 1,000 years or something. But at the end of his life, he got really fond with his master, in a sense, and he died from falling in love with her, because he got rid of all the pain and hatred that the dark side would have had, and died. It's a little love story. But he was very menacing. He did not give a fuck at all.
And see, there's one that I can't remember. There's a Sith that I can't remember the name of.
There's so many. But
okay, so, yeah, but along the lines of the love and everything, right? So, the Sith had a woman that he really loved. And, would do anything for, right? But the thing, and she ends up getting captured or something, and they try to use her by other Sith, and they try to use her as leverage against him, and he ends up saving her. Okay, but in the process of that, he learned that she would always be a liability to him, and she'd always be a liability to herself because she couldn't use the Force, and she would, if she got, if somebody got a hold of her and everything like that, they would be able to torture and hurt her, which would in turn hurt him, and if they got a hold of him for whatever reason, they could do that or whatever, and screw with her. And so, his solution to this was to make their love eternal.
How do you do that?
He killed her.
You killed her?
He killed her. He was kissing her or whatever, he ignited his lightsaber into her and killed her.
Well, fuck. Well,
because then he's the one that did it, and he did it while he was showing her love and everything and made it quick. So if she could never be harmed by anybody else. And it really hurt him to do it, because he did truly actually really love her.
yeah.
But the only way that he could ever guarantee that she wouldn't have anything worse than that ever happen to her because of the type of
Worse
thing
than
he was.
death?
Yeah, there are things worse than death.
Well, was she, she was a Force user. I think
I don't think so.
She wasn't? She was just a normal person?
I think so. But the thing is there's a lot of things worse than death. Death sometimes can be a mercy.
Yeah, but did she want to die?
Well, obviously nobody wants to die.
Okay, that's so fucked.
But the thing is, like, I understand what I mean is I understand why he did it and what his premises was.
Sith.
I'm not gonna do that. I'm blowing up the entire universe instead. I'm one of those ones that I'm not gonna kill myself because you guys are doing something to me. I'm one of those ones that we're gonna go ahead and bring the fight to you, and you're gonna have to put me down.
We're gonna have to put you on an exile planet that has no transportation to leave.
Okay, I'll just get off like Napoleon did.
How?
Napoleon got off, they exiled him to an island, and he still got off the island. Twice.
Yeah, this is space.
Was it twice? No. Yeah, I think so. I think he escaped once, and they caught him. And then he escaped a second time, and he actually had his fight. Or there was an escape attempt, and they stopped it. And then he actually escaped, and he had his last fight of trying to bring back the Empire, and that didn't work, and he got captured, and they put him on the second island, and then he was never able to escape from the second island. So yeah, you can put me on a planet. It'll end up being Zenema Zcot anyway, and then
Or you're just gonna build a whole ship out of what?
the planet. If you put me on, if you screw up and put me on Zenema Zcot anyway, it won't matter, because that planet is a ship.
Well, what about Dagobah? You can't do nothing. You're gonna make a ship out of, like, wood and dirt?
Somebody will show up eventually.
Just use all your force to connect to somebody.
Yeah. Just sit there, meditate, reach out, and then pretty soon you'll have travelers go by close enough, and you can tug on their mind and make them feel like they need to go to Dagobah for some reason. And they come to Dagobah.
Oh, okay. This actually brings up a question that I am thinking about. On episode 2, when, because Padme is not into Anakin at all at the beginning of the movie. But then slowly on the course of the movie, she slowly falls in love with him. Do you think he was manipulating her mind to fall in love with him without him even knowing about it? Just because he was that strong with the Force and really wanted it, he could have just subliminally, like, put it into the Force.
No.
No? You think that was just her doing?
No. The boy was trying too hard. She wasn't going for it. And then he pretty much grew up and quit trying. By the end of towards the end of the movie, he quit trying.
Yeah, kind of. A little bit, but
like
even still.
There was the moment where, he kind of flirted or whatever, but he, quit trying so hard. And he just started doing what he needed to do.
Well,
and then that changed her perspective of him.
I didn't see any of those scenes. I know a scene where they're talking, eating dinner, and then another scene after dinner when she was wearing that black dress or whatever.
Is that where the hold on, the one with the scene, they're in the apartment and the glass thing?
What?
This is totally made out of sand.
What was that meme that I showed him?
Yeah, the meme that you showed me.
No, what was I talking about? You totally got me off ball on that one.
You were saying that you hadn't seen the scenes that I was talking about.
Yeah, so they were having dinner, and then they were talking, and then Anakin just lays out, I've been thinking about you ever since I first saw you, every single day, and it's been haunting me. And he tells her this with a very extreme, emotion. And after that, I think they go try to find Obi-Wan, which I think that's when you're talking about. It's I don't care about what I need to do right now. I'm gonna help Obi-Wan. But then when they were going out to get trained up on them pillars on Geonosis, they kissed.
Yeah.
I just don't see how that love story came about, because it's...
Well, the thing is okay, so Anakin told her that, right? And at that point, it wasn't really going to happen. Then there were subtle things. He kind of did his little flirty thing and stuff, but then there were subtle changes in Anakin, where he switched his focus from trying to trying to court her to more of, he was being her bodyguard, he was doing his job and everything.
Being very creepy.
Yeah, well, they those two, whatever. But then there was, hey, you need to do this and everything, and then, they're going out to be executed. Okay? Alright?
Yeah,
and there's a primal instinct in humans. There's a primal instinct in humans that, fight, flight, or fuck.
I think you got that wrong.
The three F's. Okay? So, you have your fight or flight response. But then there's also a primal thing of when there is danger, and it's something that, or when danger has happened. Like a love embrace? The creating more life because of something going on. So okay. Masses died. Look what happened after the World Wars. After the World Wars, people started getting a little busy. And the population was springing back from all the death, right? It happens every time. There's an instinctual thing in humans that we need to go and we need to do some...
So their love was just biological?
So at that moment, okay, there's a bit of, this guy who told me he loves me, but then he's kind of sort of, since that point, he's kind of been a little flirty with me, but then we've got on this stuff, and he showed his complete and utter, he cried in front of her and everything.
Yeah.
His most vulnerable moment with me. And then he turned around and he just charges in to go help his master. Because he's got to.
Yeah.
And he did it while it was not well thought out.
Yeah, and it was actually
going against the
council's orders too.
Yeah, it needed to be done. There wasn't any other choice, really. and he was very grown up about it. And when they got to that point and they're about to be executed, he's about to go out here and face that, and he's actually standing there and facing that like a full-grown man, not like a little boy. And she sees that. That has nothing to do with the Force. That is just how it is. And she sees that. And, well, if we're going to die, she might as well kiss somebody first.
Well, okay, your argument is, I would say valid, but I'm not going to accept it. I'm still going to say that he manipulated her.
No, I think Anakin, at that point, if she would have fully, after everything, after time, tried to keep rejecting him, then I think Anakin would probably have started to get angry. Because Anakin was kind of arrogant.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you're going to keep rejecting. And then I think he would have maybe started to try to do the Force.
He was very hot-headed in the second movie.
But I think at that point, he would have then started to probably. But this was still, like, towards the beginning of things. And there's going to maybe be some rejection and stuff. Because she's seen him, and while she's seen him as the little boy.
Yeah.
And it took these certain things happening for her to see that he's not the little boy anymore.
Well, the little boy that grew up and, like, killed a whole family of Tusken Raiders.
No, not a whole family, a whole damn tribe.
Like, not just the men, but the women, and the children, too.
Yeah, you really are stuck on that. You just have to love that line.
And, like, she's okay with that. Even the children. If I hear anybody saying, yeah, I just killed all the children, it's like, no, this is off limits to you forever. You're a monster if you're going to kill all the children and the women and the men. He's like, fuck them kids. It's like, bro, they didn't do nothing, though. You just got really out of hand.
They're going to grow up to be sand people, and the sand people are a very horrible group of people.
Well, that's in the future time. He doesn't need to worry about that.
So, she kind of sort of did a Jedi thing, where the Jedi, don't intervene in necessarily certain kinds of affairs. They don't intervene in certain ones, because there's just natural things. If the Tatooians would have been able to find that Raider camp, they would have annihilated the entire Raider camp, men, women, and children too. Because that's the way it is on Tatooine. It's a ruthless planet.
It's a ruthless galaxy.
He, on the other hand, was a Force user, and he was using the dark side of the Force and rage and pain to kill them, and that's what makes it really bad. Because of what that means. But I don't think she quite understands that point. I think that she thinks that, that she probably thinks, because, that's the kind of the culture. Because the sand people come and raid people's homes and take people's family members all the time and kill whoever they want and do whatever they want mercilessly to them. And I'm pretty dang sure that the moisture farmers and the people in the towns and stuff there, I'm pretty sure they are not any nicer to the sand people if they come along them.
Well, you don't think she's
nice? It is shoot first, kill them all, and then take their shit.
Or do you think she's like that? I think
no,
she would
she's
have
not
very,
like that.
diplomatic solutions.
She's not like that. But I think she also thinks that maybe there might be a way to save him, too. Because some women like lost causes.
Yeah.
And he was one of the lost causes from the get-go.
He was one of the main lost causes of everything.
So no, I don't think that she was manipulated by the Force by him in any means. I think it was quite literally just him being a little boy, then being a young man, and then being a courageous man. I think that's pretty much, showed a vulnerable point that went back to when he was little in her mind, but now he's not. And then, hey, we're at this point here, and he's facing this with courage and not fear, and not like a weak little kid would.
Yeah.
You know, he's going to go face what's going to happen, and what's going to happen is whatever's going to happen, and that's how it's going to be. And that's what I think.
Still don't want to believe it. But I'm pretty sure George Lucas will be like, yeah, it was Anakin. There's no force into that at all. And I will tell George Lucas that he's lying.
George Lucas is the god of Star Wars. Okay?
He's lying about the lore.
He's the god of Star Wars. He had a bad creation, which was the holiday special, so that's like the version of Lucifer. Alright? We don't talk about it.
We don't talk about that.
And then he sold out to the devil's son. Or, well, my bad, the devil's daughter now. And she just destroyed it all.
So
We are in the Star Wars apocalypse right now.
I don't know. Have you? The series are pretty good.
We are in the Star Wars apocalypse.
Like the Ahsoka show. Have you seen that?
That is Moloch trying to just lull you in and bring you in. Okay? To bring in the sinful. I know I'm using some biblical terms. But I can't help it, man. That's how it feels, man. Feels like it's the freaking Star Wars apocalypse. Alright?
Well, the Ahsoka show's pretty good.
Right. It's to lull you in. They're doing what the Catholic Church did, dude.
No, but
They're gonna be one of them ones that convert. And then...
No, I'm only going with the stuff that's canon. I don't like really watching the stuff that's legends and stuff. I'll watch it every now and again. But I don't know, I don't like legends and all the offshoots. I like the main storyline.
I mean, I wouldn't have any problem with them doing a whole thing on Ahsoka and Boba Fett and all that. If they wouldn't have screwed everything else up.
In Star Wars or the holiday special?
Star Wars. The holiday special's a one-off, okay? Alright? Like I said, that was, you know, somebody else obviously got control of something there.
No, it's a peak movie.
That's a one-off. He made 7 movies. Because the holiday special's like a movie. So he made 7 movies, and he got 6 of them right. Disney has made, what, how many movies now? They made the 3, and they made Rogue One.
I think they made 5. Because they had Rogue One, and they also had that one other movie, The Solo Story. Solo.
Oh, yeah. So they've made like 5 movies, okay? And the only thing they got right with those 5 movies was none of it.
Oh, no, I like Solo. Solo was...
Also,
right.
not correct.
Not correct? Not at all?
It's not correct. I didn't even need to watch it to know that it wasn't correct.
You didn't even watch it? What am I?
I seen previews and I knew it wasn't correct, but I knew it wasn't gonna be correct. Because Rogue One wasn't correct.
How wasn't Solo correct? From comics or book lore? Are you trying to maintain your composure, or are you thinking?
Trying to maintain the composure.
Well, you gotta answer the question.
And yeah, I got like, 3 minutes to do it in? Okay, 1. How exactly in the movie did Han Solo win the Millennium Falcon from Lando?
From the card game.
Yeah.
Or, I would say card game.
But, was Han Solo bluffing? Or was Lando bluffing and Han called his bluff?
I don't know. I haven't seen that movie in like 3 years.
Because you want to know how it actually happened? Han Solo was bluffing out of his absolute ass.
I'm pretty sure that happened again, and he lost.
And
then
the Shebek game, or Shebek, however you want to say it, the cards will randomly change. And he was bluffing. And Lando said that you could have any ship off my lot. Because he'd been beating Lando. And the Millennium Falcon was left on the lot because it needed some repairs. And Lando flew a different ship.
So he didn't get the Falcon?
No. Then Han was bluffing, and then he got an extremely good hand. And again, he had called Lando's bluff, or Lando's deal, his bet. And he got an extremely good hand that popped, the best hand you can get, the top hand in the fucking game. And he wins, and he gets the Falcon. He tells Lando that he'll be there to pick up the Millennium Falcon, and Lando almost reneged.
I think that's kind of what happened in the movie.
Then he said, any ship on the lot is what you said. And Lando had to accept it, and he gave Han the ship.
We'll have to rewatch the movie, but I think that's how...
What I remember from the previews is it didn't quite go down that way. But it's also just not going to be wrong because Han Solo had a girlfriend named Bria.
Yeah, they're just going to have like some stuff that's...
Yeah, well, it's not going to be correct because Rogue One that came out before the Solo story wasn't correct. So since that wasn't correct, I already knew the Han Solo story.
Oh no, he did have a girlfriend.
It wasn't the one that it should have been. The girl that was supposed to take the plans of the Death Star from that planet, okay, was Han Solo's ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, that's not the same person.
Okay,
but the other
her name was Bria, and before Han had the Millennium Falcon, he had actually had to lease a ship. And he had a leased ship. And the name of that ship was Bria, named after his ex-girlfriend, who had joined the Rebel Alliance, and who Boba Fett had a contract to kill on, and actually had her in his sights, had her captured and everything, and she just said that she knew who he was, that, hey, I know that I'm not going to be able to sway you any which way. You're going to kill me. She said, but can you do just one thing for me? Can you call my father and tell him that I'm dead? And he said he could do that. Then something happened. He turned and looked away, and then she was gone when he turned back. Because there was stuff going on the planet. The stuff that was going on the planet. So she got away from Boba Fett. And then eventually Boba Fett couldn't track her down. And he figured out that's because she's dead. But he didn't know who the father was to be able to contact him. Because she had used so many fake names. So, he knew that she was Han's ex-girlfriend. So he went to visit Han. Right after Han killed Greedo. And Han comes out to Cantina because they got to prep for the trip with the Jedi and the boy and the two droids.
Mm-hmm.
And he's there, and he thinks for a second that maybe Jabba really was actually going to try to kill me because now Boba Fett's talking to him, and he thought he was going to be dead. But no, he wasn't. Boba Fett told him.
I think they took that out of the scene because they wanted to put Jabba the Hutt actually there.
No. It's fine that wasn't in the Star Wars movie. Okay, it's fine that wasn't in there because it wasn't in A New Hope. It was in Rebel Dawn. Right before A New Hope. At the end of Rebel Dawn, the very end of it is when Han Solo walks into the cantina. And you see Ben Kenobi, Luke Skywalker, over there with Chewbacca. That is the end of the Rebel Dawn book. And then it automatically picks right up in A New Hope with the whole little thing there. But that's how it ends.
Okay, so
it's
that's between like 3 and 4? That book? It's in between like 3 and 4? Kinda, sorta?
Yeah. It's part of the Han Solo trilogy, and then you also have the Han Solo Adventures.
Okay.
But, yeah, I knew that it wasn't going to be correct because I knew that they screwed up with Rogue One. Because that was supposed to be Bria, and she dies on the planet getting the plans. Everybody in the Rebel Alliance task force died, and they did get him to Leia, but it was supposed to be Bria, and Bria was Han's ex-girlfriend. And because they didn't have that storyline, they had a completely different storyline that Disney went with that wasn't part of it. I knew that the Solo story wasn't going to be right.
Well, Darth Maul, I think, is in the Solo story. I think he shows up at the little inn. I think it's that movie.
Oh, if that happens, then yeah, it's definitely not right.
Yeah, they kind of brought Maul into it a little later after everybody said he was dead. Well, we're gonna wrap up this podcast of Skyriver. This is episode 3 with Dan the Man and Zane Rolls. We'll check back with you later.